Okay. This is the Wyckoff Township Committee public meeting of September 3rd, 2019.
Okay, I'd like to call the 7 p.m. work session meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please, Joyce?
Sure. Mr. Boonstra?
Here.
Mrs. Rubenstein?
Here.
Mr. Scanlon?
Here.
Mr. Shanley's a few minutes late, and Mr. Madigan.
Here.
Thank you.
We have all the finance committee vouchers all signed and
Didn't
in,
have anything this evening, but
so we're good?
yeah.
Okay, great. I'd like to make a motion for a, well, first of all, did you read the open public meetings?
Sure.
I always skip that.
No
Did you ever
problem.
notice that? I'm consistent.
This regular work session meeting of the Wyckoff Township Committee is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, notice of this meeting appears on our annual schedule of meetings. A copy of the annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Town Hall. Copies been filed with the town clerk, the Record, the Ridgewood News, and North Jersey Herald and News. All newspapers having general circulation throughout the Township of Wyckoff. At least 48 hours prior to the meeting, the agenda was posted, filed, and mailed to the papers.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion for a 10-minute public comment period, 2 minutes per speaker for public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may have a concern to the resident of the Township of Wyckoff?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody from the public wish to speak? Come on forward, please identify yourself. And
Mike,
state your
I'm
name,
Jack,
address.
553 Helena Avenue, Wyckoff. I'd just like to congratulate you on putting the logo up behind you there. You know, very nice. Looks good.
Very nice. Thank you.
That way, if we ever put this on on cable TV, when people look in, they'll know what town they see.
Very nice. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none? Motion to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, before I turn it over to Bob, I do want to compliment Diana McLeod for putting the finishing touches on this total refresh of our courtroom and township committee room, and did a great job with the seal, which just came in this afternoon, I understand, right, Bob?
That's correct.
So thank you for getting that up, and thank you for Diana and everybody that has done a good job. Okay, with that, we're gonna, I'm gonna turn it right over to the business business meeting agenda. Administrator, can you review our 8 o'clock meeting too, and some other things we want to go through?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the 8 p.m. agenda is presented as it was posted Friday. The only thing I'd like to bring to your attention is we do have a public hearing and further consideration on ordinance 886, which authorizes another renewal of the lease to the PTO Economy Shop at 399 Main Street.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to comment at this time, rather than wait till later, that it's nice to see we're renewing our lease with the PTO Economy Shop, and it's a great tradition that our volunteer parents of the PTO organization, they support all our school children with the proceeds from the Economy Shop. Special thanks to co-president Rachel Sedita and Sarah Renner. And I'd like to also thank, during this summer, I think they're almost done. They've been working to refresh the whole Economy Shop. So thank you for the generous and supportive contributions from the contractors, from electrical contractors, putting in all new LED lighting in there, totally repainted inside, flooring all done, and I think we'll hear more about it later, but thanks all of them, and we thank them for their generous efforts, helping all our kids. Thank you, Bob. I only had, I know we were going to talk about the calendar, and I know we're down further on our pending items for discussion and policy, but I think in the interest of discussion of where we are, we want to talk about the proposed calendar changes or modifications for 2020. I know there was some discussion about the summer scheduling, as well as other discussions on maybe Monday before Election Day should be the Wednesday after, so,
Yeah, I brought that up the last meeting.
Bob, you want to tee that up a little bit, or?
Sure. Well, first of all, let's talk about changing the meeting on the first Monday of June and first Monday of November. That's not possible because we were going to go, we talked about making it the first Wednesday. We have court on those evenings, so the room is being used for court. So I was not able to make any changes there. In terms of the summer schedule, we talked about possibly one meeting in July and one meeting in August, so I provided a copy of those calendars in 2020 for you, so you could see that both meetings would be on the third Tuesday on those meetings. It's clearly your choice. You can have it remained at 2 meetings in July and August, 1 meeting in July, 2 meetings in August, 2 meetings in July, 1 meeting in August, whatever you would like to do.
Okay, let's talk about July and August first. So I'd like to have some discussion on thoughts. As of right now, you gave us a proposal, thinking of one meeting July 14 and one meeting July 11, just so we know what we're talking about.
Well, you're correct. 1 meeting July 14th and 1 meeting August 11th.
Okay, and I know, Rudy, you had some,
Yeah, I think I'm in favor of reducing the number of meetings over the summer. It isn't always necessary. I think to go with just one meeting in July and one in August, until we try one meeting in one of the 2 months is maybe a bit too much. I would suggest keep 2 meetings in July and just have one in August.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Because rather than jump into it with both feet, quote unquote, maybe we should just start with one
And
foot.
August is when most people have their vacations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are just my thoughts, but I'm open to any suggestions or discussion, just my thoughts at.
the only question I had was, so you're saying 2 in July, 1 in August?
That's what I would suggest, because as Tim indicated, August things really slow down in August. Yeah.
I was also wondering whether it wouldn't be less confusing, especially for the public, if we kept the first Tuesday for the August meeting and then skipped the third Tuesday. And,
okay.
you know,
I'm okay
if
with
something
that. I'm
came
okay with
up,
that.
if something came up, you
Yeah,
know,
I'm okay with
of
that.
emergency,
Yeah.
we could always have the second August meeting.
Okay. Ironically, I had the opposite, but I think I'll agree with you, so that at least
Yeah, I mean,
publicly,
I
at
would
one
just make
point,
it
I
either
agree
the
with you on
first or
some.
third Tuesday.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's no problem with me. I had the 18th question mark, but. So July would be 7 and 21, is that correct, Bob?
Correct?
If there was the 2 in July, and then August would be August 4?
Correct.
How did everybody else feel?
I'm okay with
I'm
that.
okay with
Okay
that,
with
to
that.
try it next
Especially because
year.
we have
Yeah.
September 1st as a
September is
Tuesday.
very early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I know that would be a nice birthday gift to my wife, August 4th, to have me out of the house, so I'd probably be in favor of that automatically. Okay, so that takes care of July and August. Can we do that, Bob?
We will?
But can we go back to the Monday before the election, because I know a couple of members had some concerns. Is that something that the court can move, or is that set in stone, or is there any other suggestions? Because it does seem,
Or move it
Can
to
we do
Thursday.
Thursday?
Is the first Thursday out?
Right.
because it
First
does,
Thursday is generally Board of Health.
We could move Board
You
of
can
Health.
move Board of
Yeah,
Health.
Board of Health doesn't meet in this room.
Right.
no, and we could move it if necessary.
Yeah, so we could do it a Thursday meeting
Yeah.
instead.
We could do Thursday. It's taken so long to get the Board of Health calendar, though. They generally don't have a lot of public there.
I don't
No,
have
there-
the calendar yet for Board of Health, so I'm still waiting for it.
Okay. All right.
okay, so just so that we're clear, so in November, we now say November 5th of 2020, which is a Thursday,
Okay.
and then June would be June 4th, I'm guessing, if I have the right calendar in my head, is that what we're saying?
I don't have that date with me, but we can go with the first Thursday in June.
Okay. Is there any other reason we shouldn't have it then?
That I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Everybody else agree?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's fine.
Just bear with me a minute. Is Election Day, is primary day June 2nd, I assume it is?
Yeah, first
First
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's first Tuesday, okay. Because another benefit of this, especially in June, is it will allow us to participate, should we want to, in the fire department golf outing, which is
Right.
always the day
Right.
before Election
Right,
Day.
that's a really good point.
And we can never make it because
Right.
of our meeting on Monday, so,
And then November, it's the first Tuesday at the first Monday, so,
yeah, okay. All right, so
Should be
so
okay
we're
then.
okay then, okay.
We okay with that?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, thank you very much for that discussion.
thank you.
Okay, Bob?
Would you like me to continue with PAI?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, on Wednesday, 9/11/19, the annual 9/11 ceremony will be conducted at Firehouse 1, starting at 6:30. I sent a memo today, an email today about that.
You see that?
Just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. Thursday, September 12th, there is a seminar being provided by Tyco Animal Control, who is our contracted animal control service in Borough Hall and Franklin Lakes, called Living Safely with Wildlife in Your Neighborhood. We've been promoting that on social media sites and in our weekly e-news communication. September 28th is the date of the community fireworks. I'm going to defer that to Mr. Shanley. He's been organizing that and working very hard on that, so I will defer to him on that. We had a request from the ambulance corps. Every year they request to use the township's bulk mail permit for their annual fund drive letter, and every year the governing body approves it. So I'd just like to confirm that's okay for them to
Yeah,
use
no,
it.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. We had a number of weeks ago some filming in the community where we, in accordance with the ordinance that regulates filming, and we had a number of complaints. They ranged to with folks, there was many cars parked in the street and some folks didn't get their mail. They're supposed to start no sooner than 7 a.m. and be completed by 9. We had a complaint that they went to an 11. The ordinance that we have allows the police department to require a police officer. And I had handled one of these situations when Joyce was on vacation and they had promised me that they were going to limit the cars and bus their folks in, or shuttle bus them in, and they're contracted employees, and it turns out that they didn't do that. So I think in the future, you're gonna see the chief requiring some off-duty police officers for those assignments. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that.
All right, and Bob, just for clarification, because I remember when the film ordinance was put in, the original intent was commercial filming in commercial area. However, you could have residential with certain restrictions, including no more than 6 per year. And of course, the goal is that you're in residential neighborhood, safety and access, which has kind of brought this on.
You're correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole focus is that these are residential neighborhoods, and there's precautions in place, so so that it's not so that emergency rigs can get up the street, folks can drive through the neighborhoods, the garbage can be picked up, the recycling can be picked up, the mail can be delivered, and it's regulated within certain hours.
Okay. And we have had some residents of those neighborhoods that have been filming complain, correct?
Yes, we've had complaints from residents in the neighborhood complaining about filming at residential homes in their neighborhood.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to point out to you that Last week, we had our movies in Memorial Field. I attended it. There was, the movie was Smallfoot, and they had about 80 to 100 folks there. The folks who were there really had a good time. It was a nice, cool evening, and it was all who were there had a good time. Just wanted to point that out. I also would like the governing body's approval of, I was asked by Melissa and Pete Melchione from the Environmental Commission to come up with some protocols as it relates to dealing with or interacting with minors on the Environmental Commission, and I put those together. I would like the governing body's approval on that because I'll be attending their meeting in September to assist with the implementation of that and some other things. So, did everybody have a chance to look at them?
I looked at it. Plus, I think you did a good job with Bob and Mr. Melchior putting that together.
Thank
Makes a
you.
lot of
And-
sense, I guess.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. We felt like we needed a policy as we have junior commissioners in place, and as we do with our coaches, as we do with other people interacting with minors. We just wanted to have some written protocols, and I assume that our commissioners will be signing the, something with the protocols.
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah, I'd like to
Yeah,
have them sign something.
Acknowledge that they've read it. and
Exactly.
Understand it, right, makes sense.
Could we go back to the filming for a second, Bob? One thing that I'm concerned about is that I hope whether a police officer should be required or not would be left up to the discretion of the chief, because we also get these permits where there's like two people, somebody with a camera and someone with a microphone doing some filming somewhere, and I don't know that,
Well,
and it kind of adds to the expense of the budget of the people doing the film, so,
yeah, I can assure you, the purpose is not to be onerous, but what happens with a lot of these situations is that the employees are contracted employees. They come with their own vehicles. They come with their own food truck. I tried to talk them into using the local businesses, so it would improve the economy.
yeah.
And they said, oh, no, we like to bring our own food, they make special omelets. And special omelets, come on. So, how special can an omelet be?
Throw it Abby's Diner.
So, it isn't meant to be onerous, but if it's supposed to stop at 9 and it goes to 11,
No, this was obviously a huge TV production. I'm talking about, somebody making a documentary or something.
But also, I heard you say that whatever you would do with any filming permit, you'd review with the chief of police. So is that a correct assumption that they would have input right from the beginning?
Yes, the filming permits are not issued unless they're approved by Joyce and the police chief. The only reason I got involved is I was pinch hitting for Joyce. And that's going to be a decision, made by the chief. And it's not meant to be onerous. It's meant to protect the residents who live in the neighborhood and who have complained. So, but I will pass your concern along to the chief. And I will make sure the Environmental Commission signs off on that, on those rules as well. Can I move to the next item? I'm trying to be as succinct as I can, Mr. Mayor.
We understand the challenge.
In terms of the book recycling container, I mean, that's an easy bid spec to write. Did you want to move forward and provide another option for people at the recycling center? We've been having that
Well, do we have any further input?
carried on
I
that.
kind of thought we were waiting for a little more input. Brian, you're the one that brought this up.
What additional input would you like? We have we have the detailed information from Franklin Lakes, which has been in the PAI for
Okay.
several months.
But I thought where we left off was, maybe I could be wrong, I thought we left off
I
was...
did report that the library director and the library board had no objection. And
As long as it's not at the library, though.
I
correct?
recall we left it off where Bob
Who
thought
would-
we had to put it out for
Yeah, that'd be a
advertising.
bid, and
So-
who are the suppliers, and then we asked for Franklin Lake's information. It was my understanding they didn't do a bid, but we needed to do a proper bid. Is that
Yeah,
correct,
we
Bob?
do things properly, whereas other towns
I
don't.
think I think at the time, it was felt that Bob had a lot on his plate.
Yes, exactly.
And we were looking for an opening. I mean, obviously, a proper bid specification needs to be done.
Yes, it's my opinion that a proper bid specification has to be done, and I already have two of these that I do.
Okay.
One for the recycling center, one for the fire. You know, it's.
Right.
it's
All right, and just one
really
other
quick.
clarification, would go at the recycling center up to discretion of the people running the recycling center, or is it a specific place? Or does it matter?
It was going to be put at the recycling center and up to the discretion, I think, of Bob and Scott Fisher as to the appropriate location there.
When I had talked to Scott, he said we could put it right next to the other recycling bins.
And that's where we had to strike out of that contract that no other recycling bins could be there.
Right, right, no one's getting exclusive,
Right.
exclusivity.
Any other
exclusivity.
comments, thoughts?
The only thing that's been concerning me from the beginning is that Planet Aid has just a really negative track record on, if you go to Charity Watch or any of those websites. So I just want to make sure that if we do it, and whoever we go with, that they're a reputable charity, that we know where the money's going, that we can investigate them specifically.
I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. If we go, if this doesn't work out, can we opt out of it
I
at some
think the
point?
contract had on 30 days' notice, either side could walk away from
So,
it.
okay.
I could be wrong. I
Yeah,
haven't
I
looked
mean,
at it.
we try to promote recycling if these are items that are not recycled.
Right, they're not.
Rudy, we can make the contract 1 year with a 1-year extension, and then we can have 2 1-year extensions.
That's
Before it
right.
has to go out the bid, and we'd also have a 30-day
Opt-out.
opt-out cancellation clause.
Are we required to have more than one bidder, or could you have only one bidder? Is that possible?
You can have only one bidder.
Thank you. Okay.
The other thing I would hope that if this happens, if we do advertise it, that we could give people options for children's books, because I know that there are people on Wyckoff Moms who regularly collect children's books to take to shelters, to take to new moms, to, donate to schools. So I would hope that just in even the preschool through second grade level books, that we could just try to list out some other options so that people aren't trying to recycle those books. Because those are, I understand textbooks and all of that need to be recycled, but the ones for younger children really are in high demand.
Okay, what we can do is, just like with all our recycling, we can specify that those types of books, and if you can give me the name of the mom who
Yeah.
recycles them, we'll put it right in our public information.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of those options, so if you could provide
Yeah,
that to Bob, we could
definitely.
include that
Definitely.
in an e-news, really, I guess. Huh?
we can actually do that right now. It's,
Okay, I'll contact the woman who's organizing it, and just make sure she's
I know they
okay
take a
with it.
lot of books over in Patterson at Camp YDP, which is after-school program for disadvantaged kids. That I know of. Because the Rotary
Well, that's
sponsors a
something we
lot of
should be
things.
promoting, reusing rather than
Right,
recycling is
right.
actually better, and especially for young children.
Well, these books, unless that are going in the bin, they will be reused. They're not
Okay.
being shredded, they will be reused. But obviously, if there's local charities that want the children's books, then, we should promote that.
okay, we'll move forward that way then. Next item is the Historic Preservation Commission. I just received a modified report from Mr. Scanlon and Mr. Boonstra. I'll leave that for your report. And the last thing I had is that I'm going to be working with Mr. Landell and Mr. Garlick regarding a request from a resident who's trying to obtain an unimproved section of a road under the legal phrase called adverse possession.
Okay.
But we may very well come back to you from a practical matter and say if the unimproved road doesn't have a public purpose, meaning if the fire chief and the police chief and the municipal engineer says there's no public purpose, the law, and I think, Rob, you've always told me, the law says that you can't sell a road, you have to vacate it, which each side gets half. And we've done that in the past. We did that with Mar, I believe, Mar down by Coe,
We did it with part of Beekman Place.
part of Beekman Place as well. So we may come back to you and say that might be the best resolution. So.
Okay.
I just had a couple other quick things.
Bob, can you go back, because I'm trying to clean up as much as I can all our policy pending. Single-use plastic bags, single-use styrofoam. I'm assuming we'll hear from Melissa and Brian on that. The September 12th, living safely with wildlife in the neighborhood. I think we talked about that before. I see it posted on our website and everything, which is beneficial. And then there was one other thing I didn't see what we're doing. The store they're gonna talk about. Okay, good, Bob.
Okay,
Thank you.
just a couple things I'd like to just touch base with you. Our recreation summer camp has completed. We had 694 campers for a 5-week period. This is the K to 4, fourth grade camp. It was held at Sycamore School. It was very successful. The cost was $95 for a week. And the camp went from Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 12:30. It was a very successful camp. In addition, I like to point this out every year, in addition to 694 campers who enjoyed themselves, we also had 61 counselors or counselor in training who are young people, and for many of them, this was their first introduction into a work environment and a work experience. So I think that's a very good experience for our young people who worked in the summer recreation camp as well. And that was very, very, very good. We also had 189 campers who participated in the grades 5 to 8 camp that was held in Washington School. And as you know, that camp we have contracted out to the YMCA. That's a sealed, advertised competitive bid, and they run that camp for us as well. So I wanted to point that out to you, that both of those were very, very successful this summer, since today is September 2nd. The DPW is continue painting the road markings. Since we've had a number of rainy days in the summer, that got a little bit delayed. The grand opening for the special needs housing at 370 Clinton Avenue is set for October 5th, which is a Saturday at 9 p.m. This will be a very useful facility to have in the Township of Wyckoff, as well as resulting in additional affordable housing credits for the municipality. Brian and Tim are meeting on Tuesday, September 10th, with Tom Gensheimer and representatives from Orange and Rockland. There was a situation where Orange and Rockland's protocol in certain situations is to shut power off for people and tell them they've got to go to the town hall the next day and get a permit, when getting a permit is really almost perfunctory and they leave the whole family without power. It doesn't seem to be, it seems kind of counterintuitive.
And they gave misinformation. Yes, you need it, no, you don't need it, you need this, no, you don't need this. So it was not a good weekend for that family, but thankfully Tom stepped up and got them the permit that they needed. But we don't want Tom to have to do that every time Orange and
Exactly.
Rockland screws up.
Exactly. It almost seems counterintuitive that they're missing the point that our residents are their customers, and they should be servicing them.
Right.
And and I know that's the main point that you're going to bang home at the meeting. So I just wanted to point that out.
I understand there was also a 6-hour power outage due to a
Yes.
squirrel chewing on a wire. So I know residents were fairly upset about that and the communication that they were receiving from O&R.
Yeah,
So-
their communication has not gotten better.
Joyce, I want to thank you for the thorough answer that you provided to the citizen who was questioning the Maple Lake Affordable Housing Project. And Joyce provided a report for you that was in the packet about that conversation. Now that the ordinance is passed, Rob, I was kind of hoping that maybe we could push the property owner to making a site plan, because we really need to buy the 20 acres and turn it into a park and save it from development. So we need to
Would it
push
be
that along.
possible there was a discussion about, with Mr. Liebman, about whether we could go ahead and actually do the division with the absence of a site plan?
By doing it by ordinance?
No, we make an application for a subdivision,
Okay.
not subdivision and site plan. So we could effectuate the subdivision, then he'd come in for the site plan later. I had one quick conversation with him regarding to that after we adopted the ordinance, so I'll follow up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we can,
I think because a site plan, that could take a year.
Yeah.
I mean, based on,
right, the way the agreement was written, they do have the right to wait until they get site plan approval if they choose, but there's an option in there, so
Okay.
I'll see if we can do something. to step
Anything
it
we
up.
could do to make it go faster.
Yeah.
The reason for my concern is the grant has a sunset provision.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And we don't want to lose that.
Right.
And quite frankly, I think if we don't prod them, they're going to take,
Right.
It might just languish.
Rob, who brings that application to the planning board? We can't do that, can we? Is it
The subdivision application?
yeah. I would think Canterbury Developers has to do that, right?
We could do it if they signed off, if we had a contract, right? We do have a contract, really, we've got the one agreement. But if we're a contract purchaser and we've got the consent of the landowner,
Okay.
we can bring an application for a subdivision.
Okay.
So, we
That
could do
seems like a
that.
good option.
Yeah, I
That sounds like the
Yeah.
best option.
That's like, actually, Rudy, that's a really good suggestion and point, because we would also save them the expense of going through that portion of their
Yeah,
application.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's just one more way. to
Does the
entice them to do
contract
that.
give us the ability to do that? I know we probably look at it.
The agreement that we have with regards to intervener and the litigation that we had does not speak of that, but
Okay.
I could do a purchase agreement with that in it.
Okay.
And use that to make the application, so I'll follow up on that. That's a good idea, Rudy.
Yeah, okay, good. Thanks, Rob.
I just wanted to report to you that both Joyce Santamoro and Mark DeGenero, the township engineer, have received verification notices from the DEP that the floodplain protection ordinance was adopted and received in the DEP office. I just want to point out that that ordinance and the floodplain maps are available for public inspection in the office of clerk. We don't interpret them, we just provide them upon request. Just want to point out to you that this weekend you're going to receive an update on our social media followers. Our Wyckoff Facebook in the month of August increased by 38 followers. Our Instagram increased by 33 followers. And our weekly e-news, which we send out, increased by 8 followers up to 5,868, which is really fantastic. So each month we continue to have more followers. And of course, this is important because of the demise of the local community newspaper nationwide. So our approach to provide the public information is appropriate and useful. Joyce and I have been working today, primarily Joyce. We have the Bergen County Clerk coming to Town Hall on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which is September 17th, 18th, and 19th. Joyce, I think it's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
That's right.
For his satellite office. They have a flyer or a bulletin that describes it, but unfortunately, it doesn't really have really good utility. It says they're going to provide passport applications, passports and some other things, but they don't tell you what you have to bring. For
Right.
instance, the number of checks. They don't.
Photographs.
They don't tell you the additional permits that are available. So Joyce has been really trying to get an understanding from them that what are the components to issue those things. So we're going to be issuing our own bulletin.
Good
That
idea.
enhances that, because the last thing we want to do is to tell people, come here and take advantage of a service and they have to go back home because it
Yeah.
didn't
And
tell all
Bob,
the requirements.
and Bob, I know it's been frustrating to try to find out what they're doing. Now, ironically, they were here a year ago. The first date they had available was September 17th.
Well,
And
we
They
also
said they
showed
had,
that
they, well, yeah,
They
we had
gave us other
October
dates.
dates.
Yeah,
we
they
picked
did.
that
That
one.
was the one we picked.
I don't think we picked the one in July, but basically it was September. My only point is, I'm a little confused because the clerk came, told us they do this all the time. They've been to Mawa, everything was buttoned down, so obviously, whatever we can do to enhance it, just seems ironic that they're the clerk with the satellite offices. They want to get out into the community, and yet we're going to spend all our time getting on information. Hopefully,
Well, with the-
whatever information that we get out is what they're going to do.
With the help of Bob, we'll give everything we need to our residents so that they can take full advantage of them coming here, so.
Well, actually, I have to, Tim, thank you. I have to give the credit to Joyce. She's been on the phone today,
Thank you, Joyce.
working on getting all the little details known, because it just, you can't have people.
Thank you, Joyce.
Can't have people coming here to get something and then
No.
they say, well, your information
Exactly.
didn't tell us what you needed. So
And again, we want to do a community service. We don't want this just to be a PR event. We want to do real community service to help our residents, particularly save a trip down to Hackensack.
And the last thing I had is, Tim, I sent to you and Rob today the completed hold harmlesses for the fireworks.
Okay.
Rob, I had a conference with him on Friday afternoon. He made some really good language changes, and so I think we're in good shape. But, I've been doing this for years for the fireworks. Please expect some pushback every year. It's a fight.
Yep,
Okay, thank you, Bob.
gotcha.
Okay, you okay, Bob, with everything?
I'm done, but I'll reserve my right to bring one last.
Sure you will. All right, we're going to have the committee reports. I'm going to start with Tim. Tim, first of all, thanks you and the committee for putting this fireworks program all together.
Thank
A lot
you.
of people, all our residents are excited. We're very appreciative of the generosity of ShopRite, Larry, and Sarah, and the generosity of Lakeland Bank and Giuseppe Cassio, but maybe we'll start with you, report. You can start with the fireworks.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, and sorry I was late tonight. I got stuck at a football boosters meeting at the library, and Roger was speaking, and I didn't want to be rude and walk out while he was speaking, so I went out the back after he was done. But yeah, the fireworks obviously are on the 28th. We've had about 5 meetings, pretty well attended by most of the committee that's joined in. My wife and Chris Calabrese are working on the food trucks. They want to have a number of food trucks so that there's a good choice of food, different types of food, dessert trucks, to try to make this a true family event for the community. We've also are working toward raising more money by ordering lawn signs. Today, I placed an order for 500 lawn signs that will look like this. And then we'll sell them for $25 each around the town, so that everyone could say, look, I donated to help the fireworks and the fire department, the ambulance corps, and hopefully we can and sell all 500 of them. It cost about $2.90 a piece, so if we sell them for $25, we're gonna make, we're gonna raise a good amount of money for our volunteers. So
Mr. Shanley, I'd also like to point out, I had a chance to speak with Joyce Santamoro, and she and her dedicated staff are willing to sell the signs in the clerk's
Wonderful.
office, in addition to the members of the committee selling them on weekends at various
great.
stores.
Yeah, so I placed that order today. I talked to Tim Brock, so he gave me the credit information that I needed, which helped us from the $19,000 donation. We were able to use some of that money to utilize it to get some signs so that we could sell them to make, to raise some more money.
When are those coming in?
How long did
About a week.
those? About a week. About a week. So
Would be
the
great if
order.
we get them out on the fields, we
Yeah.
have our rec sports
Yeah.
over the weekend,
Yeah.
because parents will buy
Yeah,
them.
they won't be here this weekend. That's when football starts. The football teams will be playing their first games on Saturday. I think they're
14th, right?
Yeah, we should have them for the 14th. And speaking of football, Roger is holding his third event on September 7th, this Saturday, coming up from 6 to 11 at 10 Nealon Drive. He'll have 2 bands there. It'll be similar to the same function he's had the last 2 years. Wristbands are $100 per person. Last year, they raised about $60,000, so they're hoping to do the same or more this year. So if you could come on Saturday and support, that'd be great to help us get that turf field that they're trying to get over at Memorial. So that's, does anyone have any other questions about the fireworks? Because I have a that's my report. That's basically it, because basically my function the last couple of weeks has been, going to these fireworks meetings and bringing people together and and thank you, Bob, for all your help, especially with all the proper language that we need for these vendors that are going to be coming into town, and to hold harmless and making sure they have the insurance.
I only have one comment,
Yeah.
and looks like a great sign, but it's going to be tough to read Nebadona in red, knocked out in the blue, but
Yeah.
just letting you know.
And let me know if you need any help with Board of Health, because
Okay.
they're gonna have to come in and
Right.
inspect the trucks, prior to the event,
Yep.
so
Very good.
Michelle
Thank
will
you.
do that.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim, thanks for
Thanks.
everything you and the whole committee doing. I'm going to go to Melissa, go
Sure.
inside out. Melissa?
Sure. Just want to note that we are videotaping tonight and that we are available on YouTube. We are streaming, so hi Jillian and Lucas, I know they're watching. So we're very happy to have that up and running, and kinks are out, so hope everybody's enjoying watching the meeting. And also, it was a big day in Wyckoff. It was the first day of our elementary schools and for Eisenhower, and I hope everybody had a great first day. It was a lot of activity over at Lincoln School, but a lot of happy faces, so it was a good day. I'm awaiting calendars for Board of Health and Environmental Commission. Zabriskie, we're meeting on the 13th to go over the work that's ongoing there. Tom, I assume 240 Demarest, we're still waiting for a report from them. Still going up the chain. I think that's about it for now.
Oh, the fire department fundraisers at the Y this Thursday
Right,
too. I
right.
forgot to mention that. So the events at the YMCA in Wyckoff starting at 6 o'clock, is it, Bob? 6 o'clock?
Yes, it starts at 6 o'clock
Very good.
with the bagpipes.
The bagpipes are kicking it off? Nice. I gotta
Great.
make sure I'm there in time.
Brian?
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to let you guys know, I think some of you may have been copied on an email from the mayor of Glen Rock about whether we wanted to do some sort of press release with regard to the Ridgewood water litigation, and Tim and I communicated about that, and we didn't think one was necessary. So just so you know, if it
Good call.
continues
Very
to
good.
happen, we basically decided that already. Rudy and I have been working on the historical preservation commissions. We had interviews with, I think, 8 people?
13 people.
13 people altogether, and
yeah.
9 on August 21st,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we did, and we discussed and updated our list, and I provided that information to you guys tonight. We're still missing an alternate and a member of the Land Use Board, but we expect to have those folks kind of lined up in the next week or so. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rudy, but our proposal was that you guys have a look at this and give us your feedback. If you
Yes.
have any questions, speak with Rudy or with me, and we can address any questions or concerns you may have about the people we've picked. Their applications have been in the packets. And I think we're looking to try to get these folks on the agenda for appointment at the next meeting.
Next meeting, correct.
Yeah.
Does it matter which land use board the person is from?
It does not
Planning board?
No, we
matter.
have someone in mind, just
Okay.
haven't been able to.
Okay.
And On August 29th, I met with the library director, Peggy Shigaris, and the director of the library board director, Peggy Shigaris, and the director of the library, Laura Leonard, and I briefed them on the activities and the policy regarding the new flagpole, and they're going to be addressing that at the next library board meeting, and they've done programs in the past around some of these, some of the subjects which the flagpole will be flying flags about, and don't see a problem. Certainly Laura didn't with doing stuff in the future, so they're on board with that. I think it'd be nice when we have a kind of dedication date that the members of the library board and Laura be invited to that specifically. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Again, thank you to yourself and also Rudy, all the work you put into the Historical Preservation Commission. They have spent a lot of time putting it together, rewording some of the things. Thank you very much. Rudy?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. The police department has been ready for school opening. The officers have checked for safety at schoolyards. Obviously, there's a town-wide stressing for traffic safety, pedestrian safety, especially the students. The crossing guards are ready to go. And you'll see the signboards are all around town, reminding everyone that schools are open and they need to be careful as they drive around, and the students need to, and watch out for students, and the students need to be careful as well. As Bob mentioned, the striping has been 95%, I want to say, completed by the DPW. They were kind of diverted by paving over the last week and a half, but when that's completed, they will get back to the striping. As Brian mentioned, he and I have had 3 or 4 meetings, I guess, interviewing and then looking over the candidates for our Historic Preservation Commission, and as he said, you have them in front of you, so look them over. If you have any questions, reach out to he or I. My DPW report concerns Mountain Ave. Back in early August, the culvert on Mountain Ave near the corner of Root Farm Road washed out pretty badly. Now, it has been deteriorating over the last 12 to 18 months. What the DPW did was they put 2 large steel plates over it, and they have, that serves the purpose for now. We are waiting, we have a grant application in with the state to remedy the failing culvert. The question is the grant going to be ready in time before further damage occurs? Pete Tenke from Boswell is attempting to find the time frame that the grant will be available so we can do the work. We haven't heard back on that yet, but in the meantime, there's the possibility to extend our time to the grant, to when the grant is available, that we may need to put a weight restriction on Mountain Ave. Probably 10 tons, something like that. Currently, it's unlimited. There are a number of 70,000-pound vehicles roll down Mountain Ave every day, and when they ride over these plates, it just pushes it down and spreads it out further. So, and the reason I bring this up is that if we do this, it will involve a detour, and it will also involve getting the Borough of North Hilton involved in helping us with the detour.
This is a township road, not a county road?
It's a township road, not a county road, and it's eligible for a grant, and Bob, you can fill in if you want on that, because it is a connector road, and obviously this is a failed situation. So we don't want to do an emergency repair, because then that will negate getting the grant money, sort of like happened on Greenwood Avenue, even though that wasn't an emergency thing. So I'm just kind of teeing it up so everyone's aware that this could possibly happen, depending on when Mr. 10K tells us that the grant may be available to us.
Is
okay?
this a safety issue for any of our motorists in town?
No, it's not now. It's not. It's not a safety issue.
If we had to do a detour around, would that be sending it into Franklin Lakes and down Ewing?
Yes, if the detour, I can't speak because I'm not the traffic officer or anything, but my guess is
It would go up to
it
Ewing.
would go High Mountain Road to Ewing to Franklin Lakes Road.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah, so we might even need.
And it would only
Franklin
be
Lakes and-
for certain weight vehicles. It wouldn't be
Right.
for cars or
Gotcha.
SUVs or anything like that. Okay? I just want to make everyone aware of that. And finally, the Barn Original, which we all know of, the restaurant on Sycamac Ave, is 90 years old this year. It was established in 1929. And it looks the same as it did in 1929. But I wasn't around in 1929, contrary to popular opinion.
Are you sure,
Okay. So,
are you sure that wasn't your first day back to school? Back in 1929, Sycamac School, that wasn't even there then?
so anyway, the restaurant is going to have, probably in October, an open house at the place. And they're going to invite elected officials and probably past and present, and other folks that they want to invite. And I just thought maybe we might want to think of doing something to recognize this anniversary for the barn sometime in October.
What's the anniversary of the
So,
number?
90.
90?
90,
90 years.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should, Bob,
So-
you can add that onto the list we just cleared out, so you put that on there.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I just have a few things in no particular order. So as we all know, in the Wyckoff K-8 schools, back to school is today. The high schools go back on Thursday. Just following up, appreciate all the hard work the DPW is doing with striping, crosswalks. Want to emphasize safety, which is paramount to all of us, and we wish all our students, both our K-8 and our high school students, and even those that went off to college, a successful year. Again, we complimented earlier Diana on getting the seal behind us. Looks really nice. I think we finished off the room very well, and really appreciate all of her works. And September 11th service, in case those that missed it, is next Wednesday. And we look forward to that service and remembering those that lost their lives 18 years ago. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we can take a brief,
If it pleases
Recess,
the mayor, I have a
unless we
small
have a
report, if I could be
dirty
given
report.
permission to talk just for
ready?
a second.
Go.
Motion to allow the attorney to issue his report.
We're gonna vote on that. Thank you. Just one quick note, we talked about the potential for doing a subdivision earlier than the site plan approval for the old Maple Lake property. We need a finalized engineering plan, so I don't know if they're at that point yet or not. I don't know how detailed the plans are, but I'll follow up with that for sure. We've got Tom worked on today, a new lease for the economy shop. You notice one thing has to be changed on the first page, so we brought it, but we'll make the adjustment tomorrow and get it back to Bob's office tomorrow. The adverse possession issue with I think it was 75 and 79 Colgate. Tom researched it today, and he can talk about it a little bit if you need more information, but I'll just hop onto what Bob talks about. My question should be, my question really is, do we need it? And if we don't, why do we want to keep it? Because it's, from what I understand, that's just a strip of trees
Yeah.
in a wooded
Right.
area, and I don't think we want the responsibility to maintain the trees or the liability that comes along with it. So if there's really no need for it in the future, I would certainly, at this point, I would, recommend vacating it.
And then that piece of lot would become a taxable piece of property,
Right.
right? So it'll add to the value in the tax revenue.
Some time ago, and I don't recall what the occasion was, I looked into, there was a discussion about vacating Lebanon Street between Colgate and Fordham. Now, I assume this will not go that entire length, am I right? Because if we vacate it, it creates zoning issues on lot 23.02, frontage issues. currently, it's a conforming lot when you consider the paper street. If it's vacated all the way down to Fordham, it's deficient on frontage.
It's deficient. of-
Yeah,
Is he picking
because-
up- Is he picking up? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pick up half of it there.
yeah, yeah.
They
So
would
this-
lose
this is-
about
this is the
two-thirds of their
PQ, right?
frontage.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
The PQ is, I think, 1601 or
Yeah.
1801, that's where we got the letter.
So that's why I'm assuming it would not go past lot 18.01 along Lebanon Street. But we can talk later about
Yeah.
this. We don't have to discuss
I
it
understand
now.
what you're saying. I mean, do they use that? Is that actually
Yeah.
paved?
Well,
in front of
yes,
23.02 now?
because lot 18 actually uses it as its driveway.
Okay,
So, but we can talk about it later.
yeah. I'll have to
Yeah.
go back there and
Yeah.
take a look to see how
Okay,
it's. to
thank
see
you.
how it's utilized. I understand though. Right, we have not heard anything on 240 Demarest. I'm still waiting for a call back from the county council's office on the agreement for the trailer for the scuba equipment. I mean, I talked to the county council, and he wasn't even sure who drafted it. So per Bob's suggestion, I think it's a good one. I may just mark it up the way I think it should be marked up. We could initially sign it and send it back to them and see if that sticks. It was just some indemnification
All right.
language we wanted to
Yeah.
clean up. But that at least would move it along, because I know the fire department's anxious.
Right.
I also, the mayor signed for me tonight a homeowner's indemnification agreement for property owners at 200 Hillside Avenue. There was some, I guess, some improvements in the front right-of-way that was discovered when the zoning board heard an application, and Mark DeGenero requested some kind of an indemnification agreement, so that if we ever need to get into the right-of-way for improvements, it'd be their responsibility to take out, and their cost to take out whatever improvements they have and put them back or remove them altogether, and also helps us from a liability standpoint if there's injury or damage or, as a result of the improvements they put in within the right-of-way. I worked on a cell tower lease today for Bob, and I'll talk to him about that tomorrow. That project's now done. Working on a few sewer extension projects for Mark 1, the one I'm working on right now. And hopefully I have done this week is one on Highview, so it's always a good thing when we can extend the sewers for your residents in town. And worked on some hold harmless agreements for the fireworks, and that's all I have.
Rob, I had one question. We met, Rudy, you and I and Bob with our planner, and there's still 3 ordinances to come on the affordable housing overlays. Do you think one of you guys could be in touch with her and sort of try to set a deadline for it?
Yeah.
Because I'm worried, it just becomes this open issue. Even if we do one and then the next and the next, just to start to get these things put away
I'll call her
before we have to do
tomorrow.
another extension with the judge.
I had it on my list today, I just didn't get to it to find out where she's at with it, but it's, I
Or
mean.
maybe agree a deadline with her,
Yeah,
because,
The ones, the remaining ordinances really shouldn't be a heavy lift, especially after she has done the ones for the overlay. So
Yeah.
it should be pretty quick now.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can get them from her within a week, and,
okay.
hopefully this month we can get it all concluded. Thank you.
Okay. With that, can I have a motion for the adjournment of the business meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll be back at 8 o'clock. 2 minutes.